So this is a time for seriousness, and this is a time for serious people. Because I promise you, there's an emotional, mental, and spiritual purge that's happening right now. And there's spirals of lies that people have wrapped around themselves. Spirals of lies. And now it's unraveling. And you're seeing the disgusting berserker that lies inside of those spirals. You're seeing it. I'm seeing it. I'm watching it. And all it does is affirm the movement forward. It strengthens the movement forward. It strengthens it forward. Because if the closer you get to where you're supposed to be, the more the light of the divine is going to chop away those who should not be present. You see? And sometimes it's personalities or appendages inside of yourself that are going to be chopped away. And you have to make a decision. You know, are you willing to allow that level of change and make yourself available to what it is that you've said you've devoted yourself into? Or are you going to focus on what you're not and what you don't have and what you can't do? You see? So for me, I go to my sacred spaces and I bring what I have. And I let that be multiplied and produced into something. You know, I don't say, well, hey, I can't go to my sacred space because I don't have the best offerings. You know, I don't have the best me. I don't have the best way of communicating. I bring what I have and let it be multiplied. You see, like there was a story about somebody bringing 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. You see, and when they were told to feed the people, that person didn't say, well, how much do you have to feed? They said, just feed the people. They took it upon themselves to say, well, we only got 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. He said, all right, man, give it to me, man. Let me show you what I do. Let me multiply it. You see? So it's the same thing with who and what we are. There's an increase that's available. Bring what you have and be serious-minded about what you bring in. And don't let anyone else distract you into anything else because they're berserking and losing control and losing grip because you're waking up. Let the berserkers just continue to spin off the cliff into the abyss because everything has an expiration date. Everything. And you don't need to extend it. Because what happens when you eat or drink things beyond its expiration date? Then you become sick. But it continues to live on because it feeds on you as the host now. It becomes that sick bacteria inside of you. You should have just threw it out. Threw it out. You know, you should have thrown it out. So, like I said, I just really wanted to speak to those who are considering coming into Anu and those who are in Anu. This is a time for seriousness. And some of you may just listen and say, oh, that's cool, and then mope to the next thing. But as you start seeing changes, you'll understand. You'll understand. No one has a time we should be preparing and joining together and doing things together because of the seriousness of the times around us. And just continuing to talk about things that you're not doing is not good. It's not good. You know, to talk and debate and spout your opinion about things that you haven't even put your hand to. There's no space and there's no room for that at this point. You know, we're living in a time where the men are getting lazier and the women are getting crazier. You see? You heard that cock crow. The men are getting lazier and the women are getting crazier. You see? So it's time to extract yourself from that way of thinking and that mindset and be serious about what we're building here. Because this is not an online thing. It's not a YouTube thing. It's not a podcast thing. You know. And for those of you who have been serious and joined, you see it. Because like I said, there's a spirit that's in some. There's a spirit that's in some chiefs, in some leaders of communities, or in some coordinators of communities, which I consider myself a coordinator. And there's a spirit that's in those who can hear what's being said to them. And some don't have it in them. They never have and they never will. It's just not in them. They may have the ability to put it on them, but it's not in them. And don't be fooled by those, because you'll end up standing waiting for a bus along with them that's never going to show up. You see, you'll end up staring down the barrel of your own inadequacy, and instead of staring down the barrel of your own spiritual gifts and endowments that have been placed inside of you. And that should be a catalyst towards what it is that we're talking about doing. And those are things that you have to ponder on. You have to give yourself permission to function at that level and be okay with saying, you know what? There's nothing really inside of this temporary world that I need to identify myself with and embrace. I don't need to bring any of this along with me. You see, I can confess at this point that, you know what? This is all distraction. You know, and my spiritual or my cultural expression, it shouldn't look like anything in the secular environment. It shouldn't look like anything in the world. I don't have to do a hip hop version of an Ariki. I don't. Because some of these environments that I'm looking to show that I have some level of validity inside of are the playground for set